Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. So to begin, we'll speak about the Champions League matches that took place this evening, mainly involving the English team. So we'll quickly go through the two matches that were played earlier today. So the first one was Malmo versus Chelsea. So for Chelsea, pretty much a comfortable win, to be honest with you. Ziyech grabbing the winner. He had a bit of a tricky game in his last fixture over the weekend in the Premier League where he had plenty of chances on goal and just wasn't able to convert this time round on the score sheet. So good news for him, as he's a player I've always rated, especially from his Ajax days. But it just hasn't happened for him in the Chelsea colours due to injuries and all sorts. But good to see him back on the score sheet. I believe this pretty much puts Chelsea into the next round. Be very unlikely that they don't qualify, but it's safe to say that they have qualified for the next round. So fantastic for Chelsea there. The next one, Atalanta versus Manchester United. So this game, always a tricky one. As I feel like Atalanta are one of those teams where probably don't get enough respect, as they're not a high-profile team. But if you go through the players that they have, there's some very technical players, very versatile players. You've got players with great experience in that team. You've got players that are creative from the wide area, especially the Danish fullback they have, Milo, who's a great player in my opinion. So, yeah, not an easy fixture for Manchester United, but managed to get a draw. Viva Ronaldo, as all of the United fans are shouting right now. 2 goals from him, pretty much rescuing United's Champions League campaign at this stage, as it could have gone a bit pear-shaped right now. But with these 2 goals, it presents United to make sure that they get one more win, and that will qualify United into the next round. So yeah, not the best result, as you know. Obviously, you'd like to go for a win, but nevertheless, a point is still a good enough result. Just need to make sure they win their next fixture. Pogba, I was watching Rio Ferdinand and Paul Scholes doing their match after post-match comments afterwards, saying, you know, he's not really putting a shift in when he's playing these sort of games. So he had a below par match, which is a slight concern considering they have a big game this weekend against Manchester City. For me, I just feel like Pogba is not quite there in terms of playing for United. I feel like with 7 months remaining in his contract, already strong rumours saying that United are happy for him to leave on a free, which for me is a bit ridiculous. But in this day and age, I guess it might have to be done, as they won't be able to get a transfer fee in January. So therefore, he's actually able to sign a pre-contract agreement with any club in Europe or across the world in that matter. So, yeah, I don't think the sole blame should be on Pogba, as he seems to be the scapegoat regarding United's misfortunes or bad performances over the years, which I don't buy into. I do feel like he's a good player, just not playing under, for me, the right manager, and he's not being played in a position which allows him to play to his capabilities. So, yeah, we can speak about Pogba for a long time, so we'll leave it at that. But despite it being a good point, major blow for United is that Varane is injured. I'm not sure how lengthy of an injury it is, but bad news, as I feel like him being reinstated over the weekend against Tottenham, which I'll speak about in more detail later on, definitely just helped the way that defense was led. Brings quality, brings experience to that back line, and he will be missed this weekend, definitely, as it's a hamstring injury, I believe. So, you know, for United's case, you'd want him to make a swift recovery, as I feel like it will actually hinder their performance going forward. So we'll see how that goes. But we can crack on to our bread and butter, which is the Premier League. So number of matches played over the match week 10. Lots to talk about, lots of things happening in the last 24 hours. So let's get into it. So Tottenham versus Manchester United. So unfortunately for Tottenham, they suffer another defeat, which was I found quite funny in terms of the match was referred to as El Sacico due to the both managers being under huge pressure by their fan base, and there weren't no terms under this sort of match, no terms or conditions. But unfortunately, Nuno was the manager that got the sack, and not Ole. So Ole in, which I'm happy to hear about. But from it's a funny one because I do feel like Nuno is a good manager, but it's probably just not the right fit in terms of the club that he's managing Tottenham. And I think for the fans at Tottenham as well, it's probably not the type of manager they would have wanted, as he doesn't really have an identity in terms of how he wants to play his football. I know he's a solid manager, which you've seen under his sort of mentorship in his previous club at Wolves, but Tottenham's a different ball game. You've got high-profile players like Kane, which that embargo that happened over the summer didn't help his situation. He wasn't really able to strengthen as much as he probably would have liked over the summer. So for me, it just was a bit of a, and I don't think he was even the first choice in terms of the appointment. So, but with every little problem, I guess the silver lining is that they've actually just appointed a new manager in Antonio Conte. So my thoughts on that appointment: what a fantastic appointment! I don't think there could have been a better manager that they could have recruited at this stage. So Spurs fans should be ecstatic right now, in my opinion. For me, he plays, in terms of how he manages his players and his previous teams in the past, they play good football, but he's going to have that sort of Mourinho personality about him where he expects a lot from his players. So the players need to buy into that philosophy. And if the current crop haven't done it in the past few years, I feel like there's pretty much a big rebuilding job with Conte at the helm right now. So, but with Conte, what you do know and what we've seen over the years, he's a serial winner. He gets titles under the teams that he manages. He will need backing. He will need time. Reinforcements, maybe some in January, but I'm expecting it more to be next summer, where he pretty much has an identity of what players he needs, and sort of which direction he wants to go going forward. But I think next season you'll see a proper excuse me, you'll see a different team in Tottenham. But it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, as we're not sure what sort of Tottenham team is going to turn up this season. So, excuse me. So, I think the target for Tottenham this season will be Europa League. I know that's not what Tottenham fans want to hear, but with Conte here, you never know. I think they can push for European football, or just depend on. I think they've got a great squad, to be honest with you. Got some good players there. It just hasn't gelled in terms of the way implement his system there. So we'll see. But yeah, I'll be honest, great appointment. I think United fans might be a little bit jealous, as a lot of fans are all out, obviously. And there aren't many sort of managers out there that you're able to attain at this stage, or maybe even next summer, to be honest with you. So I think Daniel Levy appointed him in sort of good, quick fashion. But the question needs to be asked: why wasn't Conte appointed Tottenham manager in the summer? Because there were discussions there. So what has changed in that space of time? Obviously, Nuno hasn't done well since, but wouldn't it have been better to have given Conte what he wanted in the summer, and maybe Tottenham would have had a better start, which could have effectively helped their season. Obviously, who knows? We'll see how it pans out at the end. But yeah, it's a great appointment. So Tottenham fans, big side. I think you you deserve it after a torrid time so far this season. But in regards to Nuno, I do feel like he is unfairly dismissed, as I feel like every manager needs their time when they've joined a new club. But it just wasn't to be, unfortunately. But yeah, that's my views on the appointment. But back to the game itself. United switched up their formation a little bit with a 3-5-2, playing Cavani and Ronaldo up front, which was a smart move in regards to how Tottenham set up as well. So you've got a player in Cavani who's pretty much the busy bee, where he'll be the legs, he'll press from the front, and you've got Ronaldo there who will go into the channels, but his main goal would be to find areas in the box to exploit and basically focus on finishing and scoring the goals, which pretty much panned out during this fixture. But Son, for me, had quite a few chances during the game. He just didn't have his shooting boots on, unfortunately. The first goal itself, nice lofted pass by Bruno Fernandes. Great half volley by Ronaldo. Fantastic goal. Second goal, nice through ball by Ronaldo. And great clinical finish by Cavani, where he just dinked it slightly over the keeper. Lovely goal, lovely finish there. And the third goal, great goal by Rashford from the left wing. Pretty much like Thierry Henry-esque. I love players when they score that sort of goal, when they go from the left and then just cut it in and pass it into the bottom corner. Lovely goal. So the victory keeps Ole at the wheel. United fans, let me know how you feel about that. I've pretty much been vocal ever since I've started this podcast that Ole is not the guy to lead you guys to success. As I know, odd cup here and there isn't enough. Like, you want to be back on the top, and I don't think that's the sort of manager that will bring that success to your club. So let me know what you feel about Ole. Are you Ole in? Are you Ole out? But for me, Ole being at the wheel is fantastic news as a non-United fan there. So yeah, great times ahead this season. Next fixture, Man City versus Crystal Palace. So definite surprise result of the weekend. But I had to say, what a result for Crystal Palace. And they fully deserved it, to be honest with you. They've been performing so well over the last few weeks. They haven't got the right results. So one that sticks to mind is the one against Arsenal, where they conceded a last-minute goal. I believe it was the 96th minute, which was harsh on them as they performed so well during that fixture. But you can see the improvements week in, week out. So they've been very impressive for me. And Vieira's doing a great job so far. And to grab a win against the current champions at the Etihad Stadium is a fantastic achievement for Palace this season. So Palace were able to open the scoreline quite quickly on the 6th minute. Great run and through ball by Gallagher to Zaha, who scraped to finish with his left foot. Wasn't the cleanest of strikes, but they all counted today. Great start for the Eagles there. Turning point was the red card on Laporte. So according to the letter of the law, it's the correct decision. Me personally, I think yellow card would have been the right choice. I think it's debatable for me when Zaha went through on goal. Would he have been able to have a one-on-one opportunity in front of goal? Because to Zaha's right-hand side, you had Cancelo lurking. So I feel like, and Cancelo's a quick player, so he could have possibly caught up with him or at least presented a challenge towards Zaha to avoid him scoring. So I thought it was harsh, to be honest with you. Let me know what you guys think, but there are going to be a lot of decisions like this season. As it's going to be, if you play football, you know what sort of decisions should go your way. But when it comes to sort of abiding by the law, it doesn't always pan out that way, unfortunately. But yeah, I thought that was a harsh one. But Manchester City were pretty good, to be fair. Had plenty of possession Um, but I had quite a few shots on goal as well, but they just weren't able to convert their chances, unfortunately. So it's one of those games where you've try as much as you can, but just you're not knocking onto anything, unfortunately. So the second goal itself for Palace, great run by Elise to start the move, and in the end he lays it off nicely for Gallagher, and he strikes it for the winner. So Gallagher's been very impressive. I was impressed with him last season when he was on loan at West Brom. Fantastic young player, and I feel like he will potentially be a top player. I do feel like there's qualities there. A long way to go. Obviously, still a young player, but I feel like he's got great ability, um, great engine as well, and does sort of chip in with the goals. So great start for him this season. In regards to Man City, they just have to roll up their sleeves and focus on their next match, which is the Champions League tie against Club Brugge, which is tomorrow, and obviously the big Manchester derby against United on Saturday. So, yeah, on to the next one, as we would say, and on to the next game: Liverpool versus Brighton. Let me have a sip there because a lot to talk about in this one. But for me, this was a game of two halves. Liverpool were fantastic at the start, first half, and started in fantastic fashion. First goal, great run by Salah on the wing, who lays it off to our captain Hendo, who curls in a fantastic shot from 25 yards into the top corner. Lovely goal. Great goal from our captain there. I saw a tweet from the Brighton social media account saying that Cucurella should empty his pocket, as apparently he kept Salah quiet in the game. Just because Salah wasn't on the score sheet doesn't mean you kept him quiet in the game. So, yeah, I think the social media admin for Brighton needs to behave themselves there. But back to the game. The second goal, lovely cross by Oxlade-Chamberlain to Mane, finishes it with a bullet header. So at that stage, pretty comfortable. And you're thinking it's a straightforward win for Liverpool. But you have to give credit to Brighton. They were fantastic in the second half. Really pressed from the front. Put Liverpool under huge pressure. Brighton's first goal, fluky as hell. And Mwepu's cross shot, looping over Alisson. Definitely a failed cross. I don't want to hear anything about that. But end of the day, hits the back of the net, so it's a goal. And Brighton's equaliser. Nice touch and quick feet by Trossard, who finishes clinically at the near post. A player that I'll rate, player I mentioned in the match preview, that will be the danger man and prove my point there, unfortunately. But yeah, overall, I think it was a fair result, to be fair. It was a game of two halves, like I mentioned earlier. But obviously for Liverpool, disappointing to drop points. But if you're 2-0 up and you don't perform in the second half, and you should be able to capitalize from that winning position, and just we weren't able to do so, unfortunately. So never mind. On to the next one. We've got Champions League tie tomorrow, and we've got West Ham over the weekend. So onwards and upwards from there. Next game, full of goals. Aston Villa, West Ham. For one, to West Ham. West Ham are just not playing around this season. What a game, what a result for the Hammers. Just to go through the goals, nice finish by Ben Johnson, cutting from the right-hand side and then driving it with his left foot. Interesting celebration. I saw afterwards that it was a celebration he did as a kid, and he was like, whenever I score my first goal, I'm going to recreate it. So good on him on regards to that. And then Villa equalised. Great turn by Buendia in the box, who manages to outpace his defender and squares it to Watkins, who smashes it into the bottom of the goal in the sort of centre area. So you're thinking, all right, Villa might be able to challenge here, but Declan Rice hits a great shot from 25 yards. Great goal from the midfielder there. Turning point of the game. So at this stage, 2-1. So, anything can happen. Konsa gets a red card. So I don't know if it's me, but my views might be based on street football or Sunday League football, which I used to play back in the day. But I think this was a soft decision. Yes, Konsa was the last man, But I think the way Bowen fell down, I feel like he was looking for that foul and pretty much dived, in my opinion. Um, and it was outside the box as well. So you never know in that regards. And obviously he's on his right foot. So has he got a goal scoring chance there? Possibly, but I don't know. I thought it was harsh. Let me know what you guys think. But I don't know. I might just have a straight different point of views when it comes to this. And there's a similar situation with the Laporte one. They're pretty much last man. Whereas this one, I guess he was closer to the goal, so there's a different argument here. But same theory, in my opinion. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. The third goal itself for West Ham, Bowen through on goal. Martinez makes a great save, and Fornal scores from the rebound. And then finally, the fourth goal to get the winner. Lanzini squares it to Bowen, who slides in and gets on the score sheet. So West Ham remain fourth in the league, but on joint points with Man City, who are currently third with 20 points. So fantastic, West Ham. Fully deserve it. They've been really impressive so far this season. Aston Villa, they've been in such terrible form. I have to highlight it now, to be honest with you. It sounds obvious, but the loss of Grealish seems to be taking its toll on the team now. Um, it's quite evident, and most fans would probably have known this anyway, but the team relied quite heavily on Grealish. As right now, they're not really creating many chances. They're not clinical in front of goal. So for me, there's definitely problems at the club, but at the same time, I do feel like there's enough players, enough talent there to help improve. It only needs a couple wins, and the fortunes will change, in my opinion. So they still have it to do well this season. Just remains to be seen in terms of how they challenge the top half of the table, but we'll see how that goes. The next fixture, Newcastle versus Chelsea. So comfortable win for the Blues here. As I mentioned at the top of the show, Ziyech having a few chances here, hitting the post as well, unable to finish. Just had one of those days, I guess. But the first goal for Chelsea, fantastic strike by Reece James with his left foot. For me, this wing-back role just suits him perfectly. He's really flourishing playing with more creative freedom. I think he has less defensive duties now as well. And, he gets a double. He scores another goal later in the game with his right foot. So he scored last week, from what I remember. So fantastic run of games from Reece James there. And Chelsea were awarded a late penalty, and Jorginho was able to finish with ease, to be honest. So another great win for Chelsea, but another defeat for Newcastle. From what I remember, no wins since the takeover. But having said that, there's been some developments regarding their managerial appointments. So I'm sure Newcastle fans will be having a good evening when this is confirmed. But Unai Emery is possibly the new manager of Newcastle United. Hasn't been officially confirmed, but there's very, very strong sources that are saying that it's pretty much on the verge of happening. So just to kind of give my views before that happens, I personally think it's the right appointment. I think it's a manager who pretty much similar to Antonio Conte in terms that he's a serial winner. Obviously winning numerous titles, particularly the Europa League. Has managed in the Premier League, so at least he's got that experience of being able to manage a Premier League club with Arsenal. Wasn't given enough time to make an impression, in my opinion. So for him, clearly there's unfinished business here. So I feel like he'd want to come back and prove a point to a lot of doubters. And it's the right club for him. A club with unlimited wealth. He'll be able to dictate in terms of reinforcement, what type of players to bring in, as there will be a lot of reinforcements. There's no doubt about it. Probably not in January, but next summer, 100% it will be the case. So if disappointment happens, for me, I think it's the right step. You can't just go for the best manager in the world straight away just because you have lots of wealth. I feel like he's the right type of manager to start with and see how they progress, and then he might change the fortune of the club in the short term. You never know. So for me, a right step in the right direction for Newcastle United there. And the final fixture that I'll be reviewing is Leicester versus Arsenal. So what a win for Arsenal. And to be honest, they made it look easy. From the first minute, they were so aggressive and played with real purpose, real aggression. Gabriel was able to open the scoreline with a guided header. And then for me, in terms of how they played, Ramsdale was fantastic throughout the game. I made some top saves, especially that free kick in particular. I'm not going to say that, I've always rated him, all that sort of stuff. But if you check my Liverpool transfer video that I did a few months ago in the summer, I actually did highlight an area in the Liverpool team, for example, that I wanted a second choice keeper, and I actually named Ramsdale as one of the keepers because I've always seen him as a keeper with great potential. Obviously, if you looked at his CV, you're thinking he's been relegated a few times. You might think he's a bit of a low caliber goalkeeper, but if you just look at his performances in the last couple of years, there is a goalkeeper there. There's a goalkeeper there with huge potential, great shot stopper, but leads as well. I feel like he has leadership qualities in him, which can be a great advantage for Arsenal going forward. I think for me, when I did a video with a friend of mine, Jay, shout out to Jay, where we discussed Arsenal transfer targets in the summer. He wasn't too pleased in terms of so at the time, the speculation about Ramsdale was because of the fee. But I've learned that with the English players, you have to add the tax on top as well. It's just like it's inflated prices for these type of players. So probably not the player that a lot of fans wanted, but I feel like he's definitely proving a point. And he's showing some great performance. Obviously, it's still early days, don't get me wrong. But he's showing some great signs. So he's showing great signs of being a good recruit for Arsenal. And Arsenal playing some great football now as well. That puts them 6th, but they're only 3 points away from 4th position. So they're climbing up the table now. For me, Arteta's doing a great job, slowly embedding a system that I feel like the players are getting familiarized with and getting used to each other in terms of how they're playing, how they're set up. So, fantastic week for Arsenal regarding that. So, on to my next segment, which is the team of the week. So, I will quickly share my screen with you guys. Here we go. So, here is my team of the week. So, as I just spoke about him, Ramsdale for me is the star of the week as well. I feel like I was impressed with his performance that much that I couldn't give it to anyone else. I feel like he was fantastic, made some crucial saves against a strong Leicester team as well. So that's why he's in my team of the week there. Back four, I've gone for Nouri for Wolves. For me, a player with great potential. I like his style of play. Great wing back. Bombs the left flank really well and was able to provide an assist through a set piece. So that's why I've got him there in my team. Excuse me. My centre-back pairing, I've got Gabriel, obviously on the score sheet, but also had a dominant performance for Arsenal, so that's why he's there. Varane not on the score sheet, but definitely showed his presence in the heart of the defence of Manchester United and was fantastic against Tottenham there. And my right back, I've gone for Reece James for obvious reasons. He's had another great week, scored a couple of goals, playing fantastic in his new wing back role now. So I had to put him in there. My midfield four, so Maxwell Cornet, who plays for Burnley. For me, a surprise signing for Burnley, if I'm honest with you, because he's a player I've watched in the last 2-3 years for Lyon. Really impressed with him as he's very versatile. There were times where he played left back, played right wing, left wing, but never looked out of place in whatever role he played in the team. So for me, an interesting signing for Burnley. And he definitely adds a bit of flair and creativity and goals as we saw over the weekend. So great signing and another great week for the winger there. My center midfield pairing, I've got Rice. Great goal from him. Another dominant performance from him and an assist as well. Gallagher, pretty much the same situation. A goal and an assist, so that's why he's in my team of the week. And Rafinha scoring a great goal from the right wing on a little mazy run there. So that's why I've got him there. My front two, Ronaldo, fantastic half volley from him. Adam scored a great goal for his side to clinch the winner. So that's my team of the week there. Before we conclude the show, just to give you a FPL update. So I had an awful week. I added Mason Mount on my team who didn't play. I feel I had a couple of injuries as well. So I had 34 points. So terrible week for me in fantasy football. But another manager in our FPL league had a great week. And he goes by the name of Alex Harrison, who scored 86 points. So well done to Alex. Fantastic score from you. I had a disappointing one. So well done to you regarding that. But yep, that wraps us up for today. So thank you for everyone tuning in. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. The next episode will be this Thursday, 4th of November at 10 p.m., where I'll be doing a match preview of West Ham versus Liverpool, as well as provide my predictions of all the other games in match week 11. So make sure to tune in. It's not just all Liverpool content there, so I will try and speak about each team, and I'll give my overview of how the matches will pan out this weekend. Some couple of good games coming up as well. So yeah, thank you again, guys. Take care, and hope to see you all soon. Goodbye.